So basically, he put me on the spot at Radio City. It's sold out. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm trying to figure out my jokes. Okay. All right, what I'm going to start with, what I'm going to do, and I'm trying to figure it out, right? So Dave was just watching me. He was like, man, listen. You're going to be fine. He high than a motherfucker, bro. And he's, would you like this? I was like, no, I'm trying to gig in my jokes. He was like, man, relax. You're probably one of the most talented comedians. I promise you, man. I've seen everything. I've seen all of them. The greats. And I'm going to say this to you. Before you go on stage, in my lifetime, you're John Coltrane. And I was like, oh, shit, because, you know, John Coltrane was so epic. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, because John Coltrane, he had everything. Charisma. He had the ladies. He was cool. The guys liked him. And that's you, Bill Bellamy. And I'm sitting there like, oh, shit, about to get emotional and shit. 2 seconds later, Chris Tucker come around. Man, he told me the same shit, man.
Yeah. Have you ever heard this story? This is lore. I don't know. You can cut this out if you don't want to keep it in. But apparently, years ago, I guess Dane Cook had beat Richard Pryor's world record for longest stand-up set, which I didn't even know existed.
Yeah, at the Laugh Factory.
Exactly. And then supposedly Chappelle heard about that, and then he went up and beat that. And then Dane went up and did it again. And it was this back and forth thing for a minute. And Chappelle, supposedly, the story goes, came into the Laugh Factory one night. You could ask him. And Jamie said, hey, it's Dane's night. And Chappelle, this is the height of Chappelle's show and everything. He's like, what the fuck, what does that mean? He's like, it's just Dane's night. He's like, just do a tight 10. And he's like, okay. Now, any other comedian would go do 45 fucking minutes. That's just what most people do. But Chappelle, if this is true, and we already know he's a different animal anyway, he goes up and does a tight 10. But right at the end goes, you know what? I don't usually do this, but I'm going to go outside and smoke some cigarettes. If y'all want to come out, hang out, take pictures, whatever, I'll be out there. And the whole crowd fucking walked away. And he's like, there's Dane's night.
In 1997, Dave calls me and goes, hey, if Universal reaches out to you, tell them we're writing a weed movie together. And I was like, what weed movie? And Dave said, don't worry about it. Next thing I know, someone from Universal calls me and asks, are you writing a weed movie with Dave Chappelle? And I was like, yes. And they go, when can you pitch it to us? And I was like, in 30 days' time. So we had a month to figure the pitch out, and finally on day 29, I called Dave, and I'm like, dude, we got to work this weed movie out. And he goes, what weed movie?
I have this one moment of Chappelle that tells me like who he is inside, deep inside. You know, he's a public guy, and he's had a varied and complex life, but this is who he is to me. I was, after one of the shows in Yellow Spring, he has like this... you know, a big, like his own little nightclub with a DJ station and a bar, and everybody went there afterwards. And they're playing really loud music. It's mostly black people. And me and Noam, who owns the Comedy Cellar, were sort of standing, we were the two wallflowers kind of just watching, you know. And these guys, they're in a mob just dancing to all kinds of music. Nirvana at one point, old hip-hop, new, you know, weird Alanis Morissette, just anything.
Yeah.
And they're dancing, and I look at Chappelle, and he's got his kind of half-lidded, he's smoking and red eyes, and he's watching. And at one point, he just went into the middle of the crowd of people, and he just started pushing them like this, and he made a circle. He just gently shoved people, and he made them clear a circle. And then there's a lot of kids around, and there was this little black girl with a very skinny, this little skinny girl, and he just took her by the hand and put her in the middle of the circle. And then he backed off, and then she started dancing, and everyone went wild and just watched her do this. He saw this. I watched him decide this. I'm going to make this space. I'm going to put this little black girl in it. And then he just backed off, and he just sort of was pleased at what he created. Oh, it was an unbelievable moment.